Hey guys, it's Rob, and I am here to do a review of the new movie Dark Knight Rises, the third Batman film in the Christopher Nolan trilogy. As always, I will attempt not to have too many spoilers in this review. However, if you want to know absolutely nothing about the film that you may or may not have seen, then don't watch this video or watch it and just plug your ears and go la 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 la, and then you can just see me talk and not know anything I'm talking about. Okay, anyways, to start off, to give you a really quick plot summary, Batman is kind of, or Bruce Wayne is kind of a recluse. He's aging. I think it was 8 years after the whole Joker thing, 8 or 6. I can't remember exactly. Um, yeah, so he's a recluse. We see Bane step up, comes in. He's working kind of the underground type thing, raises up this little kind of army. He and his partner try to do like a hostile takeover of Wayne Enterprises, but someone else kind of gets in the way first. Miranda is her name. Um, yeah, so the whole thing happens. Bane finally kind of does this big power play move. He releases a bunch of prisoners from a prison, not Arkham, but a different prison. Um, Kind of controls the city, pretty much says that the city's mine now, and if you try to interfere with the outside world, I'm going to take this giant bomb and blow up this city and kill millions and millions of people. Batman tries to fight Bane, loses, gets thrown into this like crazy prison where the only way to escape is to try to do this vertical climb that's almost impossible. He heals himself up, he retrains, he gets it, he gets out with the help of a bunch of other people. He is about to defeat Bane, only to find out that Miranda is actually Talia al Ghul, who is a part of the League of Shadows. Liam Neeson's character was Ra's al Ghul. Find out Bane and her have a long kind of history. They're defeated, but Batman looks like he sacrificed himself to save them, and it turns out that he did or did not. But I will not leave. I will leave at least that one thing for you to ponder. All right, on to the actual film itself. Let's just start off with the acting. Uh, One thing I was a little bit surprised about was Anne Hathaway did a better Catwoman than maybe I was expecting. She doesn't strike me as the Catwoman type, but she was she had a very subtle Catwoman to her. You know, very confident, very cocky. She even had a bit of a walk too that you need when you're playing Catwoman. So I was actually impressed by her Catwoman character. They didn't make her a prostitute as she had been in the past, but that's all right. Again, that's a minor detail. Bane was really good. Part of the problems, well, let's just say this: he was easier to understand than the initial clip that we had seen a few months ago. I still found that there was a scene or two where he talked a little bit fast or put his words together a little bit, and the mask made it challenging to understand, but not impossible. Um, and, obviously, everyone else who played their characters were good too. The person who played Talia al Ghul was not bad. I would say maybe she was one of the weaker roles, but still good. And again, Christian Bale had the same problem Christian Bale always has as Batman. Sometimes he has the Batman voice, and then other times he's talking just like Bruce Wayne. There's one scene where he's kind of yelling at Bane, whereas something, just like the last film, and you really can't really understand what he's saying. So Christian Bale has that same problem he's always had. So for some of these kind of little minor things, I'm going to give the acting in this film an 8 out of 10. Now the actual the story itself is based partly on the Nightfall series. This is a series where Bane breaks Batman's back and beats him up, and then Batman has to kind of heal, recover, and fight off Bane, which is the general plot of the movie. I would say there's a few kind of issues that didn't follow up with comic books. Bane and Talia didn't know each other when they were younger, the way it shows here. Talia, when she was a child, hung out with her father, and they went around and did things, and she trained in combat and stuff. And Bane only joined the League of Shadows much, much later. So that's completely nothing to do with the comics at all. That's just Nolan's own interpretation there. Again, completely fine, but something for you comic book aficionados to think about. Um, Bane himself did not. It seems as if there was some sort of Middle Eastern prison that he was in and he couldn't get out of. That's not really comic books either. Bane, Central American, and his father, his parents were were revolutionaries, and that's why he was in that prison. So again, very minor things, but not too bad. The story itself is pretty good. The one big criticism I will have of the story is that I think Nolan used some of the same plot devices or scenes that he's used in past ones. I mean, we find someone in the hospital, and Batman's got to rush to save somebody in the hospital because they're going to get killed. Or sorry, not Batman. Blake. This cop has to rush to save someone in the hospital because they're going to get killed. Again, the same scene with Batman yelling uncontrollably, "Where is something? Where is something?" So again, a little bit maybe tired, but relatively minor on that front. Overall, the way the story developed, the one thing that Nolan does do is he kind of makes you think. His characters are much more three-dimensional, and their rationale for why things. Bane's explaining about this and all that, and, about his revolution and how the city belongs to the people now, and that the wealthy are going to be judged, and all these people that lie to you are going to be judged. It kind of makes you think about society and everything. So that's good. That's something that you don't always get in an action kind of film. Also, to go back to the comics there for 1 second, because I noted that he had released prisoners. In the comics, he had books, he had released people from Arkham, so like Scarecrow, Joker, that sort of thing. Here we do see the Scarecrow. He's doing a little trial, which was something that did happen in the Bane Nightfall series, so that's kind of cool. All right, last and certainly not least, the actual look of this film itself. I mean, it's Nolan. He does an awesome job. Just straight off, the look is a 9. I mean, Gotham looks cool. The one thing that I gave it a 9 for and not a 10 for is that Gotham looks like New York, Manhattan. Now, traditionally, Gotham is always supposed to have been a city like Chicago. Superman's metropolis was always supposed to be traditionally New York. I mean, but besides that, though, Bane's costume, Batman's costume, Catwoman's costume, the prison is really cool. This kind of big well and the bombs, I mean, the explosion of the arena, just all the visual effects, all the look of the film. It's this one too was very good because it was dark, but there were scenes where the light almost contrasted the dark, and I really liked that. To make a long story short, the look is 9. Overall, I would give this film about an 8.5 out of 10, I would say. Ultimately, it's not quite as good as the last film, Dark Knight, mostly because of Heath Ledger and his amazing role as the Joker, but I would say better than the first film in this series. All right, well, I'm glad you watched this review. Hopefully you will see the movie itself. I highly recommend it. I'm sure I will see it again. Until I talk to you tomorrow, so say we all.